TikTok is garbage. We already know that, right? If you are 18 plus and still using TikTok on a daily basis, either you're a Zoomer who engages with zero intellectual content ever, or you're a 30-year-old plus housewife who is absolutely desperate for any attention. Not even male attention, but absolutely any attention. And that's obviously bad. But does that allow the justification to say that TikTok is poisoning society? A lot of people will agree, because everyone knows that only bad and intellectually stupid things happen on TikTok. That is true. But the reality is, TikTok is just a symptom of a way larger problem. And I'm gonna explain why. This video is done by Upper Echelons Games, one of the best channels on YouTube, and here's my honest opinion. This would be probably the biggest channel on YouTube if his personality was less dry than cardboard, to say the least. He makes really interesting videos, but these videos can only be engaged by people who actually want information and not entertainment. So it is what it is. But anyway, he is saying that TikTok is poisoning society. And that is, I will just say, flat out wrong in almost every levels possible. It is correct in the most broadest of senses, but it's not TikTok's fault society is trash currently. TikTok is just a symptom, and I will explain why that is the case in this situation. It's gonna be fun.
This video is brought to you by Surfshark. I was very uncertain whether or not to include a sponsor on this one due to the subject matter, but Surfshark is a tool promoting security and protection, so I landed on yes.
Spooky.
Alright, before getting started, I want to do a brief history of who I am and outline my relationship to TikTok as a social media application. I do not actively use the platform. I understand that there is massive growth potential for any creator. I understand that creators who leverage it properly are seeing monumental follower gains. And I understand
the thing about TikTok is, it's actually true. It is the best platform for growth opportunities. In fact, it is 100% the number one platform for growth opportunities. On YouTube, your videos are gonna get throttled by when you hit a certain amount of views. For example, my videos are usually the first 24 hours. The videos are actually shown to people. After the first 24 hours, they're literally shown to like 10 people a day. So it is what it is on YouTube. But TikTok is absolutely different. When you go on TikTok and you press anything, it is gonna show you random things. It's not always gonna show you the person with 10 million followers. It's gonna show you random people. As long as your interests and search engine algorithms are associated with things that person does, congratulations, you're gonna see people with literally 2 followers and so on. So TikTok is monumentally amazing for growth. And this is what attracts a lot of people. Plus, the format is the literal most brain dead shit ever. 2 days ago, I watched how a girl made a TikTok, and it is just like 5 seconds. You're literally done. So anyone can do it. It's accessible to everyone, and the growth potential is amazing. Plus, it's what every Zoomer uses nowadays.
And that there is content there which can be seen as entertaining. But all things combined, TikTok is a platform that I despise.
True.
I've covered the application multiple times now. First, it was criticism of trends and challenges, where TikTok users would dress as victims of global tragedy and inappropriately sing or dance on screen, pretending to be victims on...
I love that. How many TikTok challenges have there been that are just like, oh, it has been the Holocaust, so sad, remembering. Most Americans don't know what the Holocaust is. And TikTok's a very American platform, which, by the way, is a key point in this discussion, keep in mind.
On the anniversary of 9/11, pretending to be victims of the Holocaust.
That's also good. Because a lot of people don't actually know what 9/11 is. They just kind of know the numbers 9/11, and it's a bad thing. Something bad happened. So obviously you're supposed to say, good job for being a survivor. Despite you're like 12 or something like that, it's no problem. Admittedly, TikTok is the absolute worst place for things like this, because everyone on TikTok just wants to get that click. Admittedly, that's at the same time the exact appeal of the platform, but it is what it is. Most people most likely now remember the nurse who made the thing, oh, just lost a patient today, and then made sad music and how she's not happy about it and stuff. Fake as fuck.
Teenagers were displaying what I consider to be a horrifying lack of respect and common decency. But even worse, many of these users were also participating in challenges. Challenges are a flash in the pan of
I
social
love
media
challenges
popularity,
also.
but in a short amount of time, they can deal a substantial amount of damage.
Hell yeah.
Challenges on TikTok range from benign or relatively easy tasks to flat out dangerous behavior.
Hell yeah. Ah, he's gonna show it.
Spray tan solution, for example, which allegedly increases melanin production. Eating entire scoop.
People actually fuck with TikTok on purpose with this. They create fake challenges. A lot of these challenges are literally coming from places like 4chan, for example. The Cut for Bieber thing, which was one of the biggest, I think, fake challenges, also came from there. Admittedly, I don't think it was on TikTok at that time. I think it was on Instagram. But, fake challenges, people specifically propagate fake challenges because they want to laugh about the idiots who are doing the fake challenges.
Scoops of dry protein or mixing powder, which can cause aspiration pneumonia. Drinking methylene blue, commonly used as fish tank cleaner, to recolor your tongue. And the list goes on. Challenges on TikTok range from innocent to potentially life-threatening, and anywhere in between.
But that gets views. That's like the worst part about this situation. The reality is, if you're doing one of those challenges, you're getting views. Otherwise, you're like getting a fraction of the views. But if you're doing those challenges, you are getting those views.
Pennies behind electrical sockets, which causes electrocution and fire. Holding your own breath until you pass out, and slapping school teachers or vandalizing school bathrooms. When I say that these challenges are now a constant part of our everyday lives, all of us, even when we don't know it, I'm being serious because the influence of TikTok that has bled over from personal behavior to societal impact is profound.
Okay, so this is one of the first things. He will say a lot of things like this, but the reality is TikTok in every case is not the cause of anything. TikTok is just one of the absolutely easiest and best outlets to crystallize such behaviors. Behaviors that have already existed, have been ingrained in society. TikTok just allows all of these things to happen. For example, the vandalism thing. People have been vandalizing things that they can vandalize forever now. It's just the fact now they can post it online, share it, and get the appreciation they previously couldn't. That is already an ingrained part of these people, the vandalization. They want approval, and TikTok gives them approval through likes and whatnot because they do said activities. It's simple.
On December 17th of 2021, in the aftermath of a national tragedy, TikTok gave rise to ambiguous but substantial threats of violence against schools, forcing a nationwide security response in the United States. Some parents were never aware. Some may have heard about it after the fact, but this social media app was playing a role in school cancellation now, forcing a police response to thousands of elementary schools. Ultimately, nothing happened, thank God. But the reality of what this app has...
Elementary schools. Also, the interesting thing about TikTok is that it's literally only used by young kids. And young in this case, I mean like 20, 22, 21 and below ages. Which nowadays, let's face it, is the mental equivalent of a 14-year-old. And by, again, as I said at the start, women who are absolutely just desperate for attention. That's it. No one else uses TikTok. So obviously, there's not going to be a lot of people on TikTok who actually report bad behaviors and try to keep it in check. Because no normal, sane person wants to be on TikTok.
...has become cannot be denied. However, for those already forming an opinion of the platform, it gets worse. The next example of coverage I looked into was medical. TikTok is a home to viral and popular trends, but what are those trends doing? For teenage girls, those trends are likely causing neurological disorders, as they are bombarded by... and
that is absolutely true. There have been I would not be surprised if it's legitimately like hundreds of studies done about mental health and social platforms. And by the way, TikTok is not responsible for this. This already started at the age of Facebook, when everyone needed to post how wealthy and how good their lives are. At TikTok, everyone just wants adornment and instant gratification. But all of that crap already started on Facebook, and then it just got alleviated further beyond reason when Instagram became a thing. So this is also nothing new. TikTok is a completely different taste of that.
subjected to viral content of facial and behavioral tics or manufactured quirky behavior, which they begin to subconsciously imitate. TikTok.
Okay, so the subconscious imitation. This is actually a real thing, but this is not because, well, actually, I guess he has a point here. Okay, so this is how subconscious imitation works. We subconsciously imitate people that we like. Usually, you will see this when a man is attracted to a woman or a woman is attracted to a man. They will imitate the way that a person is standing, sitting, and so on. We imitate people that we like. So yes, obviously, if you're gonna like an influencer and he has very key characteristics to himself, which most influencers have because it's just good marketing and it's like a self promotion at the same time, they are gonna imitate these characteristics.
TikTok trends designed to be engaging and funny, like multi-million view fake videos of Tourette's tics, is causing actual health problems in
If a influencer is big enough and he fakes a tick, yeah, that can actually happen. I know it seems a little bit bizarre, but this is true. This is 100% true. This is just a psychological thing.
Underage users, but it gets worse. The entire application is formed around small snippets of content. One of my most popular videos ever was called "TikTok is Destroying a Generation" and centered on medical research suggesting that TikTok lowers attention spans, decreases concentration, and affects short-term memory.
These studies are kind of dubious in a lot of cases. The reality is, again, TikTok just facilitates and increases this kind of behavior. But if you actually know a single person who works at schools, they have most likely told you already for like 10 plus years that now schools are a lot different when you were there. You can't yell on children, you can't tell them to listen, you can't do this, you can't do that. So if a kid wants to be a spastic piece of shit and not pay any attention to anything, they are gonna do it. Previously, you were kind of being kept in check by school and things like that, but nowadays you aren't. So TikTok, maybe at best, I would say also, again, just amplifies behavior like that because it capitalizes on the idea that people are becoming like that people want to consume these 5-second videos and things like that.
These factors combined, as well as the resulting depression and anxiety that are built when users cannot properly moderate their own attention span, also their susceptibility to advertising, which can be very damaging,
Yep.
or are subjected to things that they are unable to avoid or turn away from due to self-control issues, make TikTok a singular feedback loop of nearly all major negative factors involved with social media.
And that is true. But again, TikTok is not the only. Facebook is still the exact same loop. Instagram is literally the exact same loop. Twitter is literally the exact same loop. TikTok is just the most popular thing now. You know how everyone actually have, since I have watched this video, I know we're going to talk about it later, so ignore me.
Entirely. In essence, TikTok is a one-stop shop designed to facilitate rapid digestion of content for everything bad that has come from this aggressive social media revolution. That video, the previous one, went viral. In the aftermath, I was engaging with a number of professors and lower grade teachers about which particular sources I had used and in what order, with an ultimate effect where the subject matter itself crossed over into classrooms. That level of response felt good. I was proud of it. I dislike TikTok. I formed that opinion based on a variety of medical and social factors. I sourced the information, and then it had some measure of impact as a result. But believe me when I say this, it gets exponentially worse from here. All right, before going...
So, one thing that... This whole conversation about TikTok is, think about TikTok as a gun. Now, if a gun shoots someone, that's bad, right? But removing TikTok is just removing the gun. There's still someone pulling the trigger. And that is culture in general. Culture in general is the reason everything like this is happening on TikTok. Culture in general is the reason why TikTok is in the current form it currently is. TikTok is just literally, well, nothing more than a scab that's showing up. You don't know what's the real problem, it's just something that shows up, and that's TikTok.
Further, sponsored video, and that sponsor is, once again, Surfshark. Your life online is a minefield. You play games, browse websites, download files, basically everything is a risk. Surfshark is here to help with that by offering
Oh no, my favorite porn site is pretty well secured.
VPN, virtual private network services, that can help insulate you from a variety of online threats. Surfshark offers protection from certain phishing attacks, a serious issue in the world of social media and crypto especially. It can
Yeah, but I don't do social media, and I'm not stupid enough to do crypto.
protect against malware, DNS tunneling, DDoS attacks, spyware, and also shield you from the inevitable and constant data harvesting as well as tracking from big tech companies. Even further,
I mean, if Facebook honestly wants to know what's my favorite porn site and what's my favorite porn genre, they just need to ask. They don't even need to hide about it. Hey, I will brag about it.
Surfshark can unlock additional content on streaming websites like Netflix, for example, because geographic location is tied often directly to licensing agreements or contracts. Simply change your region
If you're paying for Netflix, you're American. Yeah, that's on you.
and enjoy increased options in your video library. Surfshark can get you around regional censorship.
Also, what's the point of fucking places like Netflix? The last time I heard they were gonna start actually roll out ads while you were watching, even if you're paying for it. So why not just use an online free streaming site that's good? Or why even use Netflix?
Censorship, such as government restrictions on websites, which happens a lot these days, and also offers encryption, IP protection or modification, and so much more. Today, they are offering 83% off and 3 full months free if you click the link down below in the description using
Nice.
promo code ECHELON. Again, that's promo code ECHELON and 3 full months for free if you click the link down below in the description.
You know what's one of their tactics, by the way, why there's 3 months for free? Because when you sign up, it's actually a plan that renews after the X months expire. And since there's 3 months free, you're not gonna get any. You're not gonna get any reminder that it's for free. You're not even gonna get a reminder that it's still running, even if you forgot about it. But after most likely those 4 months, you're gonna get billed. That is how a lot of these things work. Now, admittedly, I don't know if this is the case. This is just what a lot of companies do.
Big thank you to Surfshark for sponsoring the channel and being a long-standing partner. This is the part of the video where I need to outline methods and give disclaimers. Investigating this subject matter is kind of tricky. Merely possessing a recording of what I looked into is probably, under some circumstances, illegal. Having been made aware by a community request that TikTok Live might contain problematic underage content, I was faced with a difficult question of how exactly to investigate this. After a great deal of thought, I landed on this kind of solution. I would not engage with anything that I discovered, except to say precisely what I was doing. Investigating TikTok Live to see if there is inappropriate or directly paid for explicit content by minors. If I encountered a broadcast that I believed to be a legitimate example of underage explicit content, I would cease recording immediately, document what I had found with notes only, and move on. I would
Admittedly, he does need to say this, otherwise, bad.
only record footage from streams where I was reasonably sure that those recordings were not over the line, and I would blur all, or nearly all, of the content that I recorded in the final video, since much of it would likely be near the line at best, should this kind of content be an issue. I was not prepared for what would happen next. Using a TikTok account I created some time ago for challenge and trending research purposes on prior videos, I began to browse the TikTok Live page. It's important to note here that TikTok Live does not function like YouTube or Twitch, for example, because you are not able to directly search keywords or categories. TikTok is, above all else, a primary feed of popular content where you selectively choose what to engage with, but that content feed is determined by an algorithm. This presents our first problem. The TikTok algorithm, as reported and investigated by the Wall Street Journal, utilizing dozens of custom bot scanning accounts, served a never-ending stream of drug content and sexual fetish material to users between the age of 13 and 15. The
algorithm, by the way, doesn't exactly do that intentionally. It's just a byproduct of being an algorithm.
algorithm began to bombard these test accounts made as users with a self-expressed age of 13, 14, or 15 with non-stop depictions of whips, chains, or torture devices. They were funneling these children
because chains and whips okay, I won't.
Into what some users refer to as kink talk, which commonly contained sexual power dynamic fantasies and other very explicit behavior. Hundreds of videos containing adult material, whether it be substances, behavior, or both, were served in rapid succession to underage accounts by a central feed, which is governed by the algorithm. Now,
So, one of the things that he does not mention here is the fact that TikTok's algorithm is technically no different from YouTube's algorithm, but the difference is because it's so fast and whatnot, you can get sucked into it even if you do not want to be sucked into it. Because you have absolutely no way of showing the algorithm on average, if you're just a normal person who doesn't think about it, that you do not want to watch that said thing.
it's important to understand how and why this occurs, and while the answer to that question might be incredibly complex, one of the easiest explanations is watch time. How long do you hover over a video letting it play? This one key metric can be used to determine, without ever needing to examine likes or followers, what content is more popular on TikTok. And for children ages 13 to 15, sexualized material can be an interest. Simply watching that portion of the feed for a few seconds longer, even if you never decide to like the video or follow the posting account, can tell the algorithm that you want to see more. And in a matter of minutes, you can be sucked down a rabbit hole of algorithmically driven adult content served to a minor's account, which reinforces itself over and over and over again.
Exactly. And again, you can't really get out of this. The moment an algorithm where you can't click a button, do not show or do not interested in channel, where you can't do that, there's no way of actually getting out of that content unless you intentionally start watching longer on different content. It's kind of insane.
TikTok Live is a central feed where users are mostly subjected to whatever the platform wants them to see, until they have found specific streams that they like from particular broadcasters and followed those accounts. But what happens when the feedback loop starts? And what if the subject matter is even worse? At this point, I need to say something to everyone watching, especially parents. I can't show you all of what I found. I can't even show you most of what I found. Out of respect for the children involved, I need to heavily censor, redact, or remove portions of footage and other on-screen content, but what I found here is disturbing. Within minutes of browsing the feed, I was being shown users, primarily girls, who were certainly under 18 and could easily have been under the technical age requirement of 16 for TikTok Live, which many users I found would openly admit. Some stated without hesitation or numerous times that they were 15, others 14, etc. And it became clear that should the algorithm decide to serve you that content, if you watch it longer, or if you like any of it, there was no shortage.
So the crazy part here is the fact that the algorithm literally if what he says is true, because I don't 100% think that this is the case, because in minutes seems a little bit too fast for me, but he's not lying. That in general I think he's 100% not lying. But the scary part about this is the fact that if what he is saying is true, then the algorithm understands that you are intentionally searching for young girls, that you are intentionally searching for 13, 14, 15, and 16-year-olds. And that is not an accident.
From there, things got worse. I started to see questionable content popping up where girls, often appearing to be quite young, were holding signs or standing in front of the camera with a revealing outfit. Those signs would say things like rose equals say daddy, or ice cream equals 360 spin, or even universe equals cut shirt. Or in one case, a woman who was definitely older than 18.
Rose, meow, wake up, blah, blah, blah. This is true. You can actually find this, by the way. It's quite literally insane. But yeah, I don't think that's underage, honestly.
She would cut off the wedding dress she was wearing for a certain chat sticker. The thing is, these pictures, or stickers, are not just pictures. They're money. In a way that seems nearly purpose-built for obfuscation, these little stickers and pictures, like a rose, are actually a way to donate money to these broadcasters, many of whom were openly admitting to being under 18 or even under 16 years old, as they did spins, bent over on camera, lifted their shirts, or... And
you know why are they doing this? Some of them probably do legitimately have bad families that understand, wait a minute, this is a way you can earn money. But some of these kids are doing this out of their free volition. You know why? Because this has been popularized for 20 plus years now. I mean, when is the last time you saw Nicki Minaj not half naked? Yeah, it doesn't happen. I have no idea how Nicki Minaj would look if she wasn't half naked. I would probably not recognize her. And this is the thing. This is normalized. Sexualization of everything is normalized. These kids want intentionally to sexualize themselves because people they look up to, aka Nicki Minaj's, and I only know kind of Nicki Minaj, so I don't know any other names, but there's a ton of them, okay? All of these stars are constantly half naked. All of these stars do provocative things. And young girls love them and they try to imitate them. So they see absolutely nothing wrong with doing that. They want to be like their favorite star. So the fact that they just come on the Instagram and do not Instagram, but they come on to TikTok and do it is nothing out of the ordinary. This is exactly expected. And furthermore, because this will not be actually brought up anywhere in this video, this situation is not special. By the way, like and subscribe. This situation is not special because Facebook already had to deal with this many years ago. Instagram had to deal with this same problem. Each and every one of these sites has had already to deal with the idea that underage kids are trying to get money by doing this sort of stuff. Every site that has come before TikTok has already dealt with this problem. Some more successful, some less successful. In some cases, it would turned out to a whole shit show and whatnot. But again, this has already been dealt with by most sites. TikTok is just a little bit different.
Engaged in other clearly suggestive content directly for money. Following the rules that I set out for myself through 4 separate sessions, I had to cut the recording and delete the footage over half a dozen times. Bombarded now with a feed of this content determined by the TikTok algorithm, I was being served a never-ending stream of girls on TikTok, many of them at very young ages, being paid by a chat room of viewers intending to see them in compromising positions. It's awkward, it's uncomfortable, and once you begin to see what's really happening, it makes you sick. But there's more. Attempting to go about this process ethically, I began to ask questions in the chat room. I would directly state that I was a journalist. I don't actually view myself to be an adequate journalist by any stretch, but that's an easier and more mainstream way of communicating the types of questions that I was intending to ask rather than I'm a gaming YouTuber, so yeah. I would directly state that I was a journalist investigating the TikTok platform to see if there are underage users being paid by older men for explicit content, and the results were very troubling.
Probably
One of 3
yes.
specific things would
Not even probably, 100% yes.
happen when I asked this question, and I'm going to show heavily redacted background footage with audio of what occurred in 2 of those outcome possibilities.
Oh, before, videos like this where it's potentially underage girls and so on, they have, remember there was a whole YouTube debacle about videos that are specially made by people like this who prey on underage girls and whatnot with strange names so they can be only found by the people who know what to look for. Yes, this has been a problem, and this will most likely be a problem for a very long time. I mean, until Democrats in America decide to lower the age of consent to 3 seconds after being born, which I think is gonna legitimately be a thing considering how many times they have tried to push pedophilia as a legitimate 100% thing that people, that not people, but children can consent to. So, you know, good luck, America.
The first was that the broadcaster would ignore me or refuse to engage. That's what I expected, and I wasn't surprised in the slightest. The second was that the broadcaster would immediately suspend me from the chat and repeatedly, even frantically, express that they were 18 years old or 19 years old or that I don't break terms of service, I promise, etc. Here's an example.
There's no fucking way that's above 15.
Alright guys, I am 19. I think someone asked in the comments, guys, I'm 19.
By the way, fucking stripper pole. She's 15 and her parents were like, hey, Julie, what do you want for your birthday? I want a stripper pole. And mommy, the proud feminist that she was, said, yes, slay queen. Oh, god damn it, kill me now.
Yes, guys, I am 19.
This response was also expected to a degree, considering the fact that a random user was asking them about what would be borderline or highly illegal and disgusting behavior without any sort of preamble. They don't know who I am or what I actually want, and they simply respond by distancing themselves. However, the third outcome, which happened numerous times, was the most interesting and concerning. When asking the question of certain broadcasters, some of them would answer, yes, I have heard of that stuff. They would go on to describe that it didn't happen in their broadcast, but they did know about it. They had some friends who did it, etc., etc. But the strangest factor of all was that on more than one occasion, and only after they answered affirmatively to my questions, the broadcaster would be suspended or banned from the platform in real time. Here's an example of that. For context, this girl, I'm just going to call her Jane for privacy reasons, answered my question, as you'll hear, with, yes, I do know about that. It doesn't happen here, though, and was then suspended immediately afterward.
I don't know what to tell you, man. I just be doing it. Do you hear of older men using TikTok live for minors? But yes, I do. But nobody's on here with that. And if they are, I dismiss it right away. I'm a journalist investing in a platform. That's what's up.
That's quite funny.
I went on to have a roughly 10-minute off-platform interview with Jane about specifics of this, and this is where I started to become aware of coded language. To be clear, I cannot give a definitive reason why...
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. How the fuck... have you never heard about this before? All of these rings use coded language. This is like 101. They use coded language for doing pretty much everything. Because one of the reasons is... You know how you can talk into your WhatsApp and write a message like that? You know how technology can literally understand what you're saying? Yeah, that's... I would not be surprised if this is real, because most likely they are TikTok is trying to do the most classic thing that all of these platforms try to do. They understand that there's a problem. They understand that bad things could happen, but they understand while bad things aren't happening, this is exponential growth. This is huge. This is making them so much money, so much everything. So, they ban certain words because, again, the platform understands what you're saying. The TikTok most likely records everything that you are saying, in fact. If you do not know, TikTok was not too long ago, like a month or two, sued or fined for saying that no, it doesn't give China any data about its users, while a leaked call showed that no, it is 100% giving literally everything to China. And also, a big reason why all of this is allowed is because this is owned by China. TikTok is owned by a Chinese company. And when you have something with such great access into the West, and it's owned by a Chinese company, that means the CCP has full access to this. And that means that they are using TikTok in some way, shape, or form as a weapon against the West. And degeneracy, in China's opinion, is one of the best weapons possible. A point that is easily to prove, by the way, because if you know this, then China also has TikTok. It's not just an exclusive Western thing or a US thing. But the difference between Chinese TikTok and Western TikTok is that while in Western TikTok you have underage girls dancing for money and women trying to be as sexually promiscuous as possible, in China that's not allowed. You get banned. In China, TikTok is used to spread their cultural beliefs, how good the CCP is and things like that. That's the only thing that you can post on TikTok. Anything else and bad things may happen to you and your stupid family. That's the difference. So, China intentionally pushes this shit out to the West, while for themselves they are using TikTok as a place to pretty much give, well, closure to their country, to make it seem that they are virtuous and things like that, while in the West it's just full-on blown degeneracy.
Why Multiple broadcasters were suspended as soon as they answered my questions, acknowledging that the problem even exists. But it did not happen a single time to a broadcaster that blocked me or refused to answer. It only happened when they gave a statement, and it might be possible that the ban was simply for evading the 16-year-old age requirement. Jane.
No, they most like. Okay, so also facial recognition is a thing, and China's really good with facial recognition. They most likely are monitoring every TikTok stream, every TikToker, and algorithmically announcing how old they are. Are they the actual age that they proclaimed, or they are younger, or they are older? Most likely that's what's happening. And the moment that the algorithms notices someone who they have flagged under 18, and then they start saying the bad words like, for example, oh, older men constantly approach me, that's a ban. Most likely that is what's happening here.
Had acknowledged in the very same broadcast that she was 15 and was coincidentally handed down at that particular moment, but I am extremely skeptical of what was going on here. Regardless, this is when I started to learn about coded language and where it became increasingly difficult for me to keep investigating. It felt disgusting and wrong to even sit silently in these rooms, let alone continue to ask questions.
I mean, sitting silently in these rooms definitely is wrong.
Started to make sense from then on as to what precisely was happening. Viewers are using coded language to have underage girls perform for them. That's really what it is.
Yep.
Fit check means let us see your stomach or pull your shirt up. You forgot something or...
I can actually say in the chat, fit check. You're short, blah, blah, blah. When you gonna sit... Now.
Get something from the back means walk away and show your ass. Outfit check was a common one, very common, where girls would back up to show their entire bodies. And the chat rooms were completely overrun with requests, and I don't just mean trolls here. They were overrun with paying viewers, requesting feet pictures, often referred to as feet check, or toe ring check, or anything
Classic.
like that. Or attempting to move off platform and discuss some sort of larger transaction through Cash App. Do you want to make $400 fast, or $500 fast, etc.? Or buying them something from their Amazon wish list. I want to be extremely clear right now. Not all of the broadcasts that I found or that I'm using in the background right now were underage girls performing.
A lot of this is intentional. A lot of this is 100% intentional from the girls because they understand that they can get a lot of money. And let's be real, money is a virtue nowadays and there's nothing you can currently do about it. And the people in the chat rooms, they know what they're doing.
Performing for money, but many of them were. Perhaps for some, they just looked younger than they were, but some of them openly acknowledged that they were 15 while taking donations in order to do squats and spins. These are children using TikTok Live to display their bodies, even fully clothed, but doing...
I mean, I did a video even on this. This was that one Instagram chick who intentionally used filters on herself to look underaged so she could get a bigger audience. She did pretty sexual pictures, and she used filters, makeup, and everything she could, so she looks as young as possible. Like, the more underage she looked, that was her whole goal. This is nothing new.
Splits and showing their feet or spreading their legs for money from older men, and it is a breeding ground of inappropriate and sickening behavior. To be clear, I undertook multiple sessions of investigation. After starting with an old account, I created a brand new, fresh, never-before-touched profile and engaged with the same pattern of browsing. This new account fell into the same content black hole as before in a very short span of time, and were I to undertake the process again, I have no doubt in my mind at all of similar or identical results.
Obviously.
I have to be careful here because certain claims I ran into over the course of my second session devolve into hearsay. It wasn't one of the specific girls that I talked to personally, but her friend who had been allegedly extorted after selling nude pictures to one of the viewers in her chat room. That type of situation...
Yeah, this is a classic. There are people who are gonna try and extort you for this. Admittedly, there's people who try to extort you for everything. But nudes is one of the most popular things. Because, you know, imagine... You're someone underage, you're a boy or a girl, it doesn't even matter who you are, and someone has your nudes and they're threatening to release it to your school, to your family. Like, at that point, considering you're young, that's the worst thing that could happen. That is your life over. Everyone's gonna make fun of you, no one's gonna like you, blah blah blah, all of that shit. you're gonna most likely do what that person tells you. This is nothing new. This is a well-known common tactic.
And I do believe that she was sincere, as a personal opinion, is called sextortion. And when underage girls are performing for money on a live broadcast, fielding thousands of donations in some cases and requests for other ways to send them money for a favor, is often what they would say in the chat room, it can absolutely occur on that platform. In a very short time frame, I was finding more instances that made my skin crawl than those that didn't. Understanding that nearly every single teenage girl who uses the live broadcast feature of TikTok was being bombarded with requests, it starts to feel overwhelming. A 13-year-old girl who lies about her age is suddenly getting showered in gifts for showing her feet and twirling on camera. She gets
So, first of all, that is in a lot of cases what they want, because they kind of understand what they're doing to a degree. The part where it goes haywire is the fact that they get way more attention than they actually expect, and that people are way more pushy than they actually expect, and they feel forced to do it, and they don't exactly know what they're doing. So essentially, this is, I kind of want to do it because I saw some kind of Nicki Minaj or whoever the fuck do it. So, it's okay, it's cool, this is how I should be. And then they get sucked into it because they're just a child. They don't have the literal mental faculties to deal with things like this.
gets more money when she dances provocatively, and an algorithm designed to serve content that people
And by the way, he just literally described how grooming kind of works. You start off small, then it's this, then it's bigger, and so on.
are interested in is showing her broadcast to more and more sick people all around the world every day, even every hour or minute. This kind of situation is so prevalent.
So one of the things that I have heard is that you can't actually go around the world with this. The TikTok Live is a little bit different, and it kind of prioritizes your own country of origin. Now, I have made a TikTok account, but that was pretty long ago. And I got people from my country. I couldn't actually get to the US. I needed to specifically try and search people in the US, and there was no filter for country or anything. Maybe that's different now, but as much as I know, you can't exactly just go to another country unless you have a VPN. Pretty sure VPNs help. So, this is where I'm gonna make the situation a lot worse. So this is what happened when he checked the US, because I'm pretty sure Upper Echelon is from the US. Maybe he's Canadian, who the fuck knows, right? Would explain a lot if he's Canadian. But anyway, he's most likely from the US or Canada. Now imagine what fucking is happening on TikTok when we're talking about India. Or places like that. Oh yeah. In places like India, this is probably taking a hell of a different turn.
Okay? I was shocked by this. I encountered young boys who were using face filters pretending to be young girls in order to receive roses and other gifts.
Fun fact about the toddler enjoyers and whatnot. A lot of people who would call themselves straight actually go for young boys as some kind of power fantasy trip. I don't remember what was the justification in their minds specifically for this, but the science behind it is a lot of people who would be straight by default but are playground enthusiasts go for young boys. So this is extremely popular, most likely.
Which are redeemable for cash. Maybe some of them were pranking the audience, sure, but if there is such a high demand
Knorgov, what the fuck is that?
for this, such a large economy of transactions and behavior taking place, that children will use filters to appear more feminine and engage with it for profit, that is a serious problem. When doing follow-up research for this video, I learned something else. Moderators of TikTok are specifically being trained using real material depictions of child sexual abuse. Uncensored, explicit images of children are used in high volume for moderation training, and we need to ask a sincere question. Why do they feel it necessary to do that?
No, that is not a sincere question. The sincere question is, why aren't we fucking punishing them for doing that. Because if I remember correctly, there was no punishment for this. They were literally using legit underage photos, explicit photos, and things like that to train what they're supposed to spot. And I think this is literally just because it's China. Like, TikTok lied that it's not giving information to China while they full-heartedly knew what they were doing. And I think this is just China saying what to do. This is kind of Disneyland effect, where there's a lot of people who prey on kids in Disneyland. That is absolutely no secret, because it's the easiest place to prey on children in real life. Because you're surrounded by children. The whole place, the whole everything there is designed for children. So obviously, that's gonna attract those kinds of people. And on TikTok, where there's an explicit problem of a similar sort, where underage children are doing not the best kind of things, it's intentional. That's all I can say. It is 100% intentional. They are intentionally trying to find people who will be very lax with it, who know what they are looking for, and who know that they don't want good things to happen. That is my opinion with this.
After my initial wave of research on the subject, I found an article on Forbes written by Alexandra S. Levine titled How TikTok Live Became a Strip Club Filled with 15-Year-Olds. This was an excellent piece of work, and most importantly contained quotes from security, legal, and law enforcement experts. I'll link it down below if anyone is interested. It was invaluable in my own creation of this video. As per TikTok's own enforcement report, they removed over 300 million videos in 2021 alone that violated their community guidelines, and the majority of these were not removed by automation. Combining the adult nudity and sexual activities category with the minor safety category accounts for over 50% of all videos removed since 2020. Looking at the number of accounts removed that are suspected to be under the age of 13, 15 million of them in...
Obviously, TikTok is, again, I said this, TikTok is the absolute easiest place to do these sort of things. And the whole of the US culture pretty much has been pushed explicitly in this one direction, that things like this are okay, that things like this are things that you should be doing. That's the thing. Oh, and by the way, look at this. Indonesia, Pakistan, Russia. I didn't even notice this, but yeah. These are all the countries that I expected. These are literally all the countries I expected. Indonesia, because underage prostitution is a thing. Pakistan, because same thing. Russia, sexual slavery. Philippines, pretty much again the same thing. Brazil, blah, blah, blah. Everything as expected. And UK is also sexual trafficking.
1 quarter. October to December of 2021. 15 million account deletions for suspicion of being under 13 years old in just 3 months. I am not going to make the claim that TikTok is failing to try...
And again, the best part is they can just remake those accounts. There's nothing stopping them.
...and moderate their platform. If their internal reports are to be believed, they certainly make that effort. I believe I witnessed it in...
Okay, so yeah, that's the thing. They specifically have these internal reports to have plausible deniability.
Real time, as I investigated all this when broadcasters acknowledged my questions and were immediately suspended. They even resorted to highly unethical tactics to educate their moderators on child sexual material as they do this, but with the volume that they process, the sheer number of children flooding into the platform, and the undeniable economy that has arisen for sexual exploitation and transactional behavior, we must ask the question, is this platform doing more harm than it is good? An algorithm that has aggressively...
This is kind of a Christian, I would disagree, because of all the things happening on TikTok, I'd argue that it's probably doing more good than harm, but the harm is too great in this situation to ignore it.
Promoted adult behavior, from substances to kinks and more, directing that content at children, is now governing a live feed of broadcasters where underage girls are being showered in gifts to perform suggestive actions or poses, many of them with Cash App, PayPal, Amazon wishlists, or Venmo in their bio specifically for this purpose, while a massive community of groomers, and most likely pedophiles, watch intently, many of them actively trying to pull the girls into an off-platform environment, whether for money or other incentives. The footage I found within mere hours of investigating this topic had to be cut several times in fear of crossing a profound moral, ethical, even legal boundary. And once you have witnessed these broadcasts, even in passing, the machine learning of TikTok will continue to push them into your feed aggressively at every turn. Hear me when I say this, anyone in my audience who is a parent or even a free-thinking teenager. Carefully examine when and how you use this platform, because shrouded behind the simplistic visual of just a rose or an emoji is a cash for favors underbelly of children performing paid actions for groomers and sick individuals. Set aside the dangerous challenges.
By the way, this is still happening on Facebook and Instagram and all these other platforms. Admittedly, they have done the curation a little bit more at this point because they had problems with this. Again, this is just the moment a new platform arises like this, it gets widespread and it happens. It's just the way of life at this point.
The disrespectful trends, the medical concerns of imitation and neurological disorders, or the rampant scamming and falsified content that plague this platform each and every day. Set all of that aside and look now at one simple reality. An algorithm that has been proven to serve wildly inappropriate, even dangerous content to children, now governs an effective marketplace of underage exploitation. Is this application worth using?
Yeah.
That's it. I reached a point in the production of this video, just to be completely honest with everyone, where I couldn't...
And that's pretty much it. He's not going to say anything else. Again, I have seen this video before. So, it is what it is. TikTok is just a symptom. But no one's treating the actual illness. They say they see TikTok sprouting up, but they're not actually talking why this is happening. And this is, by the way, ironically enough, the reason why some adults at 20 years ago, 30 years ago, and somewhat said that these shootings are happening because of violent video games. With video games, it wasn't a thing, but as you can see, it's a very similar thing to video games. So all of these things are semi-real. Sometimes they're real. It doesn't even matter. Shutting down TikTok would just mean that 2 new TikToks arise and everything would continue as if nothing ever happened. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.